G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Brel Submachine Gun. This is a standalone submachine gun that is obviously very inspired from the Sten, complete with custom sounds and animations to go along with it. But the most interesting part of this mod that I've found is that this magwell, which also doubles as a foregrip, can be set at multiple different angles. We'll call this 0 degrees. You can have this at 45 degrees, which will come out diagonally like that. Or you could have it 90 degrees horizontal here, like going out there. And we'll show those off in a little bit later, but that's kind of cool. That would presumably require making 3 different animation sets for just the one weapon, which is a lot of effort, so I can respect that. So let's get into the attachments, shall we? We're firing the 45 rounds. There's also a 10mm round conversion here if you feel like you can't feed this thing, but that will cost you a little bit of damage, of course. This thing can only be spec'd in fully automatic, and the calibrated powerful receiver giving us 84 damage with just under 1200 points of DPS. And for reference, I believe the assault rifle powerful automatic with the suppressor gives us 1400, so that's pretty good. Our main downfalls here are going to be its range. Its fire rate is nice and high, but yeah, that range means we're going to have to be nice and close. But we can remedy that by attaching a longer barrel. We can have just this barrel tip. You can extend that out, and there's even an option for a longer barrel, which is slightly more accurate than the extended. There's also heavy barrels, which will increase your range even further, and extended heavy. Long heavy, tactical barrel, this one requires gun nut rank 3, and the long tactical barrel, which has presumably the same stats, but a gun nut rank 4 requirement. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Maybe this is supposed to be the superior barrel, but the stats are the same for its previous one. But we'll throw that one on anyway because I think it looks cool. Next, we can throw it on a stock or improve this stock. This one's just standard. You can have a full wood one there. It's better recoil. And there's a wire version. Tactical for superior recoil. A light stock. Slightly worse recoil, but reduced weight. So if you're worried about this thing's weight, it's not that much. Perhaps if you're playing on survival, you need to travel light, then there's an advantage in that. But no, we'll go for a tactical light stock here. It appears to be superior and better aim with scopes as well. Superior recoil, that is. Cool. Seems to be the best stock for this thing. Doesn't look particularly comfortable, but don't worry, we don't have to hold this thing. Next, we've got the magazines. There's smalls, mediums, large with quick eject variants of each, and there's a drum magazine. There is no option for a quick eject drum, but there it is. You can have that down the bottom, which is going to make the weapon nice and balanced for now. 10 AM, we're looking at the sights. So you can have iron sights, as you see now. You can delete them if you don't want to aim down the sights at all. And there's also alternate versions there, which give you a little bit of a, I don't know, that's like grease gun vibes. In fact, looking at this thing just with the drum magazine as it is right now, if it had like a regular old pistol grip with a wire stock, definitely grease gun vibes. You've also got options for glow iron sights, alternate versions of that. Nice little ghost ring. Very good. There's also options for reflex sights, alternate versions of the reflex sights, so there's plenty going on here. There's also options for short scopes and the long scopes, which only provide you ×2 magnification. So it's not a crazy vanilla 8 or 10 times zoom in, which would be completely out of the question for a weapon like this. So let's just go something, we'll go for something basic, just this reflex sight with a dot. I feel like that's going to be a good pick for a close quarters type weapon. You've got options for muzzles, including compensators, muzzle brakes, pretty stock standard basic stuff, and a suppressor, thanks to Ace Operator, getting ourselves a little bit more damage, costing us a decent bit of range, but that extra damage, I think, offsets that quite nicely. We'll skip over the legendary effect that is provided by a legendary modification, if you are wondering. And now we get into the full version. Now, if you're playing this on Xbox, you won't get these because all of these textures and stuff, they just bloat up your mod files and you'll obviously unlimited space. So this only happens if you get the full version on the PC. Now this one is the woods, which are the wood things. You can replace them. You can even make them metal if you feel like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this thing gold because why not? Have I done that before? Also, there's a bunch of logos, but I haven't figured out exactly where they're going to be. I'm going to assume that you'll find those maybe on a stock. So let me just go over to the stocks once more. Who knows? Also, if you change the wood to gold, it'll give it a gold-plated stock as well. Doesn't seem to increase the weight by too much, but yeah. I've got no idea. If you know where those logos are actually located, please leave a comment, because I don't know. I'll leave a comment in this web zone. I'll give you a pizza roll. Anyways, so here is the handling section, so you can have it diagonal or horizontal. It appears that it's not actually changing. I thought it would on the preview, but we're going to leave this one vertical because, you know, having a drum magazine all the way out here is going to make it very hard to handle. There's also an option to take off the heat shield if you feel like it. You can't make that gold as far as I know, so that might be a combo breaker if I cannot make it gold. Anyways, we'll continue to gold this thing. This one here, just another slot. You can change the metals. If you want to go for a more raidery look, you can also you can make it rusty. I think that works out pretty well in the world of Fallout, don't you think? And lastly, the accents, make them gold. It's like we're going around in Call of Duty getting all of the specific metals for this thing. I like how it's like this subtle gold tint. It doesn't look super bright and luminescent, but it's reflective. That's kind of cool. It's like something's been slapped over the top, so that's cool. It's what's it called? The cube map, I think, is what is altered here, right? That's what's happening. Modders, any modders in the comments? Anyway, so there's our gold powerful Brel Submachine Gun. We'll show you how to get these things, and then we'll make a couple more and see how we go. In order to find the Brel Submachine Gun, you must come to the Boston Mayoral Shelter, which is on the very left-hand side of the map. There's the border, north of Natick Banks, but south of Fort Hagen Satellite Array. That's from the Automatron DLC. You'll find it due westerly of the relay tower, so yeah, it's a pretty easy place to find. But once you get here, make sure you hit this terminal. That'll open up the door for you to get inside, which is in this bunker here, would you believe? You don't have to worry about too many enemies down here, or do you? I'll let you get surprised on your own, but make your way through the cell. There's some laser turrets that are on the ceiling. Dispatch of them as quickly as you need to, then hit this elevator, bring yourself down. Once you're out of the elevator, go past the gas-filled room, look out for any more of those laser turrets on the ceiling, and head further down. Once you get into this room with the blue carpet, hang a right into this one, and you'll find this suspicious-looking footlocker, and check out this flex. Yeah, I bet you weren't expecting in-game cutscenes from a weapon mod. Oh, what a flex. Well done. Once you pick up the submachine gun from the Mayoral Shelter, you can craft it under Brel SMG on your chemistry workbench for no gun nut ranks or anything but these materials. 3 should do, 1 for each angle of the magazine. Behold the magnificent loadout. You've already seen this one, so we'll just name it something that is more on point. This one is sniper status, so we'll call it that. Yep, that's right. And lastly, this one, it's rusty, so we'll give it this name. Done. Okay, Goldilocks, salad fingers, and sniper status. Let's go. Alright, we're here outside Gunner's Plaza, and here is our Brel Submachine Gun. You've already seen this golden one, but in other news, I've figured out where the icon goes. You see on the charging handle buttons. Nuka-Cola, it's right in my face. I can't believe I didn't notice that earlier. Anyways, this one is sniper status. I've got the enclave thing. Also grayed out all of the things in gunmetal gray with a 45-degree angle thing. And look at that. The ejection port is directly opposite of the magazine as well. And I didn't mention this earlier, but if you look, it's got little moving parts. Kind of like the plasma guns in this, but I don't know, maybe it's like some sort of crazy recoil control system. Kind of like a Chris Vector, but weird and Fallout-y, because despite firing this fast in 45 auto, I'm not feeling that recoil, eh? And this thing laser beam accurate. Pretty much exactly where I'm pointing it. I'll have to worry about the muzzle drift when I'm shooting it, but that's easy enough to control, right? Very nice. And lastly, salad fingers with the glowing iron sights. And there's the custom sounds I was talking about. I put the long stick mag in this thing because, well, it's also got the Minutemen symbol because, you know, the Minutemen were a little bit down and out when you found them in Fallout 4. But anyways, let's begin. We'll get our sniper status version out and we'll snipe. It's not going to go very well, but give it a crack anyway. 100 damage from back here. I mean, we're getting the sneak criticals, of course, but yeah, well, we can't blame it. This is far outside of its intended range. And it looks like there's no dots for me to aim through as well. And, excuse me, we'll have to do something about this. We'll just crit the mantis. There we go. And now we're back into regular old caution. And as they creep a little bit closer, they can experience the full firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station. But I'm sure you're not here to watch me snipe at these guys with a submachine gun, so tell you what, I'll give it one more magazine and we'll full mag dump this. A couple of cheeky little headshots there. Since they're all standing together, we'll give them a bit of suppressive fire. Anyways, Goldilocks, let's move in. Little bit of sway. Look at that movement sway, but as soon as you start shooting, that goes away. And if you're lucky enough to have a perk which allows you to pacify your enemies, that prompt will center your aim up right quick. Poorly timed reload there. Anyways, so as expected, this thing is cutting through them pretty quickly. The ammo expenditure is going to be high, but just as the stats would have let us know earlier, the DPS is high, which is good news for me. I kind of need that high DPS. We're not super worried about the ammo expenditure, at least on this difficulty. We are playing on very hard, so half of our damage is already gone before it even, you know, hits the enemy's armor. But ammunition, it's weightless. We can carry as much as we want. I suppose there's no reason why I can't just zero in and aim for headshots all the time, I guess, so let's do that. When we're not augmented with the extra damage from the suppressor, this thing can still shred pretty easily. So if you are pretty switched on with your aim, I feel like this thing is going to be good. And what the bloody hell was that? I'm going over here now. I'm a little bit concerned that they've got a grenade launcher or something up there. Seems like a fairly decently efficient weapon to use in VATS as well, which it's a good sort of playing that hybrid role of an automatic rifle and a VATS-centric weapon. As a submachine gun, you'd expect it to be performing like that. Just the cross between a machine gun and a pistol. Have the extra good VATS traits of a pistol, but the firepower of a fully automatic rifle. You love to see it. And even at this range, we're still hitting them about as reliably and decently as we would be from up close and personal. And as the enemies dance and stagger around, yeah, I feel compelled to mention that since you're firing so bloody fast, your stagger chance is going to be very high as well, which gives you a little bit of utility in the fact that you can neutralize your enemies as you, like, before they're dead. Not fully, of course, at least on a temporal basis. It is kind of comforting to see that I can point at these guys and reliably hit them when full autoing, even with this. Let's go over a bit in third person, shall we? Go back to Goldilocks, bring her back out. And then totally miss that. We try this again. There we go. You didn't see that. Actually, no, I meant to do that. Quick reload in third person as I boot his gun that he's dropped right in front of me. I hope you didn't stub your toe on that because, ouch. Do that in the door frame, it hurts. It wouldn't expect it to be pretty bad on a rifle. So, no real dramas with this thing. It seems to be holding its own enough. I haven't really thrown myself into a fight that I couldn't lose. But even when there was multiple gunners on me and plenty of heat, this thing sort of stood up and held its own anyway. So, I don't know, maybe you're looking at like mid to late game stuff, but not totally end game because, well, there've been stronger weapons and stronger weapon mods, but as a nice little stepping stone. But perhaps if you feel like you're crushing enemies too easy with all of those more suitably endgame weapons, then this is a pretty good option just to dial in your own damage to present yourself with a challenge. But that is not to say that this weapon is performing badly at all, but yeah, it's interesting. I think it's actually balanced pretty well. I think you'd get probably the same amount of, or the same sort of performance out of a souped-up handmade rifle. So yeah, you can't really complain about that thing. And on your back, it works as well in multiple different ways too. Also, I took Raine's face paint off and gave her a different hairstyle, and she looks completely new. It's like a whole new character. That's Raine. I don't know how well we're going to be able to keep up our stealth in a day like today, but we're gonna try it anyway. Because if we don't, it's going to take a little bit of time to kill this guy, so we'll try to sneak crit him as much as possible. Even add some criticals in the mix, why not? We've got a couple of VATS criticals to use, plus the calibrated powerful receiver as well. That's doing pretty well. Let's keep on shooting him. Now he's getting nice and close. Oh, he's seen me. Well, that was good while it lasted, I suppose. Should go over to Goldilocks now, just so I get that better VATS accuracy, VATS usage. And perhaps, maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to find ourselves a mysterious stranger appearance. That would be pretty helpful, don't you think? Ow. He's seemingly hitting everything, even when I'm blatantly dodging. Heat-seeking rocks. They're pretty scary. Alright, we'll go over to VATS now. Add some criticals to the mix. 241 damage. Yep, Mysterious Stranger is showing up. I've kept his attention. He's probably hitting him for the back. Yep, I see that. Up to 800 points of damage. He's getting his full measure in, which normally he turns around and gets killed instantly. So that's pretty nice. Looks like it's all over, mate. Well, not this one. Fine. Be like that. Don't throw it, Swan. Don't throw it. Normally, I get way better luck with the dodges actually manage to dodge stuff. But today, he was pretty much on point, so I'm glad we killed him and got the help from the Mysterious Stranger when we needed it. But I'm not going to be giving up on this stealth setup just yet. Let's try this again, but dim the lights a bit. Okay, we're gonna make stealth happen, like Fetch. We're just gonna make it happen, even when they tell us it's not going to happen. So, any insects down here ready to die? I think they've already been cleaned up. It's good news. We'll start this off with a big old crit. Oh, Mysterious Stranger showed up. Don't think he cares all that much. Look at that hipfire accuracy. The shredding. Okay, now he sees him. Just wait for him to completely disappear. And that is the power that I wanted to show off against the Swan, but he saw me a little bit too early, and I've got the prompt to eat that. I keep forgetting that, ooh, look at that. There's a drawing and sheathing animation. I don't think I showed that off, but I don't know why I've got the cannibal perk on. That's how you make Wendigos, and, you know, it's not good. Okay, one last run. See if you can pick up what legendary effects I've put on these. This is sniper status, and I've put a legendary effect on it. What is it? See if you can figure it out. Okay, well that was fun. Let's try this one. Salad fingers, let's go. This one I feel like is a little bit more easy. Still don't know why I call that giant ghoul the Wendigo, but here's a little bit of a sneak peek preview. That's going to be involved with Nina's follower mod. I really need to find a voice actress for her, and I don't get that much reach on Twitter, so looks like I'll have to ask somewhere else, ask around in the community some more, and I'll obviously pay them for their work. $1 a line. It's not that much, but you've got a couple of hundred in there, maybe. So, should be able to knock it out pretty quickly. Letitia Lemon, the Who voice, never really complained about that. I think most of her voice work for Fallout projects is volunteering anyway, so she didn't complain when I said, I'll compensate you for your time. So that's good. So, that's a thing for later, but yeah, I've been thinking about Wendigos recently. The Until Dawn game, yeah, you might shit-can video games for being like good glorified movies, but that one was really well executed cinematography, and it's not like a God of War game that used to be this fun hack and slash game that has turned into this boring Last of Us walking simulator, you know? It's a little bit different, but that's cool. But the problem is that I've been having dreams, and that Wendigo from Until Dawn's in it, which is kind of creepy. Don't like that. And I've been getting on some story podcasts on Spotify. There's this one called Paralyzed by Seven Lamb Productions. If by any coincidence anyone's ever heard of Seven Lamb and they're watching this, then that's good. Check them out. Tower 4 by those guys. Very, very good. Anyway, so the whole premise is the monsters in their dreams become real. And it starts off with them seeing this shadow man, like a sleep paralysis man. And I saw him in a dream, and I'm a little bit concerned because usually that's bad news. So if you haven't picked the legendary effect from this one, wow, really? Was that me or is that you, mysterious stranger? Not sure, but I think you get the idea. So the Brel Submachine Gun, it's a wonderful, fantastic piece of weaponry. Very well done. It is polished. It is got all of the flexing you'd ever see from a weapon mod in that little in-game cutscene. Like, there's very little to complain about here. I'm trying to think of anything at all to complain about. I guess that sound could be a little bit more meaty. We are firing the 45 caliber rounds after all, but there's really nothing that I can speak ill of this thing. It's really well done. It's on Xbox too, obviously a truncated version without all of the options for retexturing it, but we've explained why that must be, but it's a little bit of a shame. But once you're on PC, the world of modding just opens up to a whole new level. So if you'd like to see this thing in your game, check out the link in the description. Raine's a follower, but she doesn't look like that. She looks so different without the face paint on. Doesn't look raidery at all at this point. But yes, she's a follower mod on Xbox, on PS4, but probably doesn't work all that well either. I've stopped making mods for PlayStations because it's always a pain in the ass to get them to work properly, and now that I want to do a little bit more advanced stuff with questing and scripting and actual talking, that's a no-go for PlayStation. Anyways, go and download the Brel Submachine... Brel, not Bren. If it was like a closer to a Sten, it could have called it a Bren, but no. It's a Brel. Check it out, worth having. Thank you very much for watching, guys.